It's track reviews.
Hi, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you are doing well, and it is time for another track review, another track reaction. This time around, we have another taste, another installment from this Gorillaz Song Machine multimedia series. Not only that, but the project has seen fit to release what I guess is going to be the full track list and feature list of this thing. Season 1 of Song Machine, we are looking at features on every single track, and some pretty exciting ones to come. I mean, every track we've heard so far and that I've reviewed so far is listed here, but also we have what looks like JPEG Mafia and Chai on a track titled MLS. We also have Jonas Policewoman, Earth Gang, Gold Link, and Unknown Mortal Orchestra, as well as St. Vincent on a feature too. So some pretty exciting names to come on this one. A Beck appearance as well, and Elton John with Black on the same track, believe it or not, which is pretty interesting. So this series has been shaping up to be one of the more, I guess, enjoyable sections of Gorillaz' career so far. I think while these tracks have been feature heavy, the song quality and production has been out of this world, and obviously we are doing a track review here. I wouldn't do that if we didn't have another song to listen to. We have one over here with one Mr. Robert Smith of The Cure fame, so pretty interested to see how Smith works into the overall Gorillaz aesthetic, being the only feature on this track listed. The track is titled Strange Times. Let's give it a taste. Okay. This is funny because I feel like an idiot at the end of all of these Gorillaz Song Machine episode track reviews, because I feel like a majority of the time, like, the song ends and my first inclination is to go, this is one of my favorite tracks in this series so far. This is one of my favorite tracks in this series so far. I mean, it's why I keep coming back and reviewing songs from it, but each time it's like without fail. Like each time there's a teaser, it's like, oh, this one's one of the best so far. But I guess in a way I do really feel that way. Loving the harrowing and eerie pianos, like sound like almost like busted pianos or something, and synthesizers that kick the entire track off, along with Robert Smith's writhing, strained vocals, as animated as they've ever been. He plays a really great contrast to Damon Albarn or 2D's vocals, which sound very muttered, low-key, spoken word, awash in a little bit of distortion, which make them pop. Good choice, because I think they would have been lost in the mix otherwise, but maybe in the next verse he does a little bit too much distortion, because I think his words and his lyrics lose a bit of definition at that point. So I think the distortion didn't necessarily benefit his voice throughout the entire track. Beyond that, loving the building dance beat, those hi-hats, the way the tension is going up and up and up underneath Robert Smith's next vocal passage. The synthesizers are kind of chimey and strange. Just loving that groovy, simmering tension that is being built here. In my mind, I'm like, oh my God, there's going to be an incredible dance beat, and I don't know when it's going to drop or how it's going to drop or what it's going to sound like. And frankly, I love how much they held on to it. And when they finally let loose, it was kind of like a standard driving post-punky, new wavy groove. There was part of me that was almost expecting kind of like a driving house beat or something along those lines. I think it could have easily worked in that context and maybe been a bit more cathartic going in that direction. But given Robert Smith's background, and I guess also looking to the fact that they did that whole Peter Hook thing and the New Order worship on that other track earlier in the series, I guess doing something like this isn't that big of a surprise. But still, I'm loving how, even beyond that point, the instrumentation is still building, getting more cacophonous, all the layers of sound effects and freakish horns. And even though it gets noisier and more hectic, the anthemic nature of the song is not really being lost. It's not being, sort of like destroyed in translation by all the haze of sounds kind of just being packed on top of each other. Just loving how thick the entire thing ends, and loving how cathartic that grand finale in a way is once the groove does finally come into play. And I loved just about as much about this as I have about every other track here. I thought the guest appearance was good. I thought the production was colorful and cinematic in this case too, and really chock full of personality and fun details. 2D again, I think those vocals were certainly present, gave the Gorillaz vibe, but I think could have gone a little bit farther in terms of like really putting an emotional or a fiery stamp onto this track. I think just because Robert Smith is a strong vocalist, that you couldn't have matched that with some equally strong or partially strong vocals or something. It felt to me almost like 2D's singing was underplayed so that a majority of the attention went to Robert Smith. And not that I think you could or should be afraid of outshining Robert Smith. Like he's got a voice that stands out no matter what kind of mix you put it in. But I think a stronger 2D vocal could have been, called for here, at least a little bit. But outside of that, loved this track. Thought it had a great progression, great structure, awesome instrumental palette, and super clean, fantastic mix. Just, again, continuing to be impressed by everything I'm hearing in this series, and cannot wait to hear the rest of these tracks and the rest of these really interesting feature choices. But that's me. The Kano is going to be cool. You're the best. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this track and the series of features and tracks that have been released from Song Machine Season 1. And I will see you guys in the next video. Over here next to my head is another one that you can check out. Hit that upworthy link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Gorillaz, Strange Times, Forever.